Happy Friday, everyone. Today you are tuning in to episode 5 of the Biz Insurance Wiz. I am your host, Shala Collins, the Biz Insurance Wiz. You can find me on TikTok at Biz Insurance Wiz. I'm on Instagram at Biz Insurance Wiz. But on YouTube, I'm on Biz Insurance Wiz Lab because that's the only handle that I was able to get when I was creating my email address. So, as you know, every Friday, I have committed myself to bringing you content in the world of insurance. This Friday, we're going to be talking about something that's a personal kind of insurance that everyone should put in place for themselves. It's a very important insurance and it's something that is severely underutilized, unfortunately. And it's super, super important that when you are doing your planning, that you consider actually, and I say planning like your financial planning, right? You have a retirement account, you have Social Security, you guys may have investments, stocks, you have all these different vehicles where you have money coming in. But it's also very important that you actually allocate money into this bucket. If you want to think of it as buckets, think about this as a bucket that you should have insurance in. So not only should you have, of course, your life insurance, you have medical insurance, you have dental insurance, and whatever other insurances you may have. Some people may still have disability, depending on the age you are and if you're still working. But you should have long-term care insurance. And here's why. So I've been in the business for about 6 years now. And when I started off in this business, as a life insurance agent, selling life insurance. And I was also licensed with health. And I sold a lot of long-term care policies, which is what we're talking about today. So from a mortality table with life insurance, men get higher rates, right? If in general, men usually pay a higher rate because they're expected to die sooner than women. And of course, that's not always going to be the case. It depends on, what your health is like. People have all different kinds of conditions. Doesn't matter what age they are. So, but as a general rule, from, just by a default system, men usually are expected to leave early. So men have a dying problem. But on the reverse, women, we get a cheaper rate in insurance because we're expected to live longer. So that's nice, right? But that also creates a problem for us too. That means women have a living problem, which means is the longer we're around, the longer we are going to need care, right? So sometimes they say life insurance is like the ultimate I love you. It's an I love you note that that you pass on to your loved ones when we leave. I love you, and because I can't be here for you, I want my legacy to live on. I want your dreams to live on. If you weren't in a position to properly invest in them, take the proceeds from this death benefit, use it for whatever you decide to invest it in. Hopefully you're making a smart choice with it. People prepare wills, all those things, right? So that's an ultimate I love you. But long-term care is also saying I love you, because it's that I love you enough to make sure that no matter what's going on with you, you still get the highest quality of care, right? So long-term care, right? So what is the name of my title today? Long-term care, LTC insurance, long-term care, women have a living problem, men have a dying problem. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm going to go a little bit more into it so you can learn what it's about, but obviously you probably have an idea. It definitely has to do with us getting older, aging, and not being in a position to take care of ourselves, right? But someone else has to take care of us. And most of the time, if we didn't properly plan and the person didn't put any funding away for long-term care, more than likely the person that's going to be taking care of that loved one is going to be you or a family member, a close family member. And depending on the age of the caretaker, the family member, and where they're at, you may have to have a rotating shift, a rotating schedule of family members that are going to provide care for that family member that needs long term care. Um, Most of the time, long term care providers are women. And that means that's going to have an impact on their earning um, potential, because now, if they have to reduce their work hours so they can then provide care for this loved one, that's also going to subject them to some issues. It could be down the line, maybe some financial issues. Maybe they're not done working and investing and creating their nest eggs, and that could be disruptive to that process as well. So again, we're talking about long-term care today, folks. Doesn't matter what your socioeconomic situation you're in, you should have long-term care. If you are not rich, you should definitely have long-term care, because you're basically exposed. You don't have a safety net. So you have all these buckets, but you don't have anything in the event of a health emergency. People are getting dementia, memory loss. There's things that's happening to people early on. And that would make you subject to being a candidate for long term care. So, having said that, I'm going to share my screen with you. And if you can only bear with me, I'm going to try to make sure I get you the right screen so you can actually see the content. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Please don't go. Hold on. Please don't go. All right. Hopefully you can see that. This is what is long-term care. So exactly what I was talking to you about, guys. What is long-term care? Who needs it, right? So long-term care involves a variety of services designed to meet a person's health or personal care needs when they can no longer perform everyday activities on their own. This article provides an overview of long-term care planning, services, costs, as well as other resources. I'm going to have to do a video just on the costs and the breakdown, because you're going to need that information too, just to have a good understanding of, what you may have to be planning for. So, who needs long-term care? Who needs long-term care? Many people will need long-term care at some point. However, it can be difficult to predict how much or what type of care a person might need. Right? So it's convoluted. That's why it's very important that you sit down with a professional that can go over, what you may think, or some specific scenarios, some hypotheticals, a situation you could find yourself in. That person will walk you through a customized solution to prepare you for something like this. The need for long-term care can arise suddenly, such as after a heart attack, a stroke. More often, however, the need for long-term care develops gradually. People require more care as they get older and frailer, or as a serious, ongoing illness or health condition that gets worse. Worse. Did I say worse? Oh my goodness. All right. I'm trying to get you through this, because this could be long if I was to go through each and every topic. What are the different types of long-term care? You have home-based care, right? In many cases, long-term care is provided at home by informal care providers, where you hear about like a home health aide coming out to a person's home and providing them care. Most home-based care services involve personal care, help with everyday activities, also called activities of daily living. So that's a term that they use. These activities include bathing, dressing, eating, and taking medications, as well as supervision to make sure a person is safe. I know this is not a sexy topic. No one wants to talk about this. Community and residential care. Some aspects of long-term care can be provided in a person's community, such as an adult daycare center. So if you've ever seen those centers, you have adult daycare centers, well, they provide services there. And obviously, a person, or an elderly person who's a candidate for that, doesn't need as much round the clock care as it is for someone who may have some more serious issues going on. Care in these settings may include meals, exercise, social activities, personal care, and transportation. These services may be provided at no cost or for a fee. All right. So there's also long-term care can be given in a residential facility, such as assisted living or a nursing home. Some facilities offer only housing and housekeeping, but many others provide personal care, social and recreational activities. So, if they're getting older and they're alone and they could be widowed, they have them join into these little communities. So they make friends there and, they don't have to go at it alone. Aging could be fun. Meals, medical services. Some facilities offer special programs for people with Alzheimer's disease and other types of dementias. So sometimes you may see a memory care center that's specifically for people who have dementia, Alzheimer's. That's a completely different condition, and it requires. I mean, those those individuals are vulnerable, and they need more round the clock care than others that may need assistance with other, everyday activities. So long-term care planning. Okay, so this, by the way, I don't think I mentioned the source. This source is the NIA, the National Institute of Aging, nih.gov. So that's the link. There's an actual organization, the National Institute of Aging. So for long-term care planning, the best time to think about long-term care is before you need it. So just like when it comes down to life insurance, you don't wait till you have been told you may have kidney failure. And okay, gosh, now I'm going to go run and get me some life insurance. Not the right time, right? Because you are going to be subject to an adverse reaction. Insurance companies want to make money too, but they want to make money on healthy individuals, right? They are taking on a risk. So you don't go apply for insurance when the doctor tells you you're going to die in, 3 months, and you think you go get a life insurance policy. Well, they can contest actually paying that death benefit because it's like, hey, you knew that you were getting ready to pass. So you don't wait to get long-term care, right? You get it when you're healthy because it's part of planning. The same way that when you're putting away money for your retirement, you're putting it away for the long haul because at some point in time, you're going to retire. And at some point in time, you may need long-term care, right? More than likely, especially for the women. I mean, some people could just flat out just die, right? But in the event that doesn't happen, that's not what is set for you. You have the living problem, you're also going to have the care problem. And so you're going to need a solution. The solution is going to be to have long-term care in place, right? So planning for the possibility of long-term care gives you and your family time to learn about services available in your community and what they cost. It also allows you to make important decisions while you're still able to. Begin by thinking about what would happen if you became seriously ill or disabled. Talk with your family, friends, and lawyer about who would provide care if you needed help for a long time and what kind of care you would want. People with Alzheimer's disease and other types of dementia should begin planning for long-term care as soon as possible. Read more about advanced care planning. I tell you, from all the long-term care policies I sold, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, all these different places provide the care, but you get to choose. So the majority of people that I spoke to, I don't think I met one person that did not want care provided for them at home, right? Most people, the majority, prefer to stay in their own home. That's normal, but depending on the severity of what's going on with their health, that might not be an option for them. So it all depends. But as the article says, most people prefer to stay in their own home for as long as they can. Staying in your home as you get older is called aging in place. But living at home as you age requires careful consideration and planning. There may come a time when it's no longer safe or comfortable to live alone. Be realistic and plan to revisit the decision as your needs change over time. All right. So let's see. Just so you guys know how committed I truly am to the folks, to my seniors. Let's see if I got the right screen. I'm not looking at the right thing. All right. So, all right. Some key takeaways. Independent living, we kind of went over key takeaways for assisted living. And I'm in a screen that you can't see, so just disregard what I just said. That's not important. I'm gonna stop. Gonna stop sharing that with you. And I'm gonna share something else with you. And if you're still here, ta-da! So my full name is Agneen Shala Collins, by the way. So just so you guys know, I am a proud card-carrying member of AARP. Okay, I'm a proud member of AARP. As you see, I blacked out my membership number. I don't need you guys trying to take my information and go pretend you're me and be getting all those good benefits and rewards and stuff for being an active member. Um, I could just tell you that I absolutely loved working with my pre-retirees and my retirees and helping them, um, providing them with solutions that was just basically going to benefit them and their families. So, yes, I do not have the age, but like I said, I've been a member since 2020, so I'm pretty proud about that. So, I'm going to stop sharing that with you. We're going to get back. 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 I know this was a long and probably boring video because it is long-term care. Again, not a sexy, exciting subject. People are not excited to hear about this or motivated to get this kind of insurance. But I have to tell you, if your employer offers it, I would get it in a group plan because that's probably the cheapest way to get it. Individual, if you get an individual policy, it's just like going ahead and getting healthcare at it by yourself. The individual, if you do it in the individual way, that's always going to be the way that you end up paying the most. And of course, that's if they offer it. The majority of employers do not offer group long-term care plans. So regardless, at some point in time, you want to look into that because some people think that Medicaid would pay for it. So remember, Medicaid is based on need. It's based on need, meaning financial need. So if you are someone who's considered, maybe you're not in poverty, you're not going to qualify for Medicaid, which means that Medicaid is not going to pay for long-term care insurance for you. And they are not going to pay for that kind of care because the notion is that if you got long-term care, or if you have the opportunity to get long-term care, you should have gotten it. You're going to be on your own trying to figure out how to navigate it. If you have a house, they'll tell you to liquidate your house to pay for the care, right? Everything that you worked for. And you don't want to be in that position. I've seen it happen. And they go back 5 years. So, they go back 5 years to look and find out what you have. It's not easy. And so if you could be in a position to do something about it before you subject yourself to that, would you not? So something to think about, all right? So happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're having a great Friday. You're planning to do some great things for this weekend. I am happy to report to you again, episode 5 of the Biz Insurance Wiz. I am your host, Shala Collins. Please if you can, subscribe here. Share my content. I am looking to grow. I'm looking to continue to inform people, to bring you good information and good content. And with that said, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, and continue to support Biz Insurance Wiz and other folks that are out here doing it, guys. So next week, I will see you, and thank you again for tuning in. Bye.